What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I hope you like this video. This is going to be a review for Married to Medicine Season 8, Episode 4. So, we start this episode off, we have Simone and Michael out shopping for his dorm. You know, listen, parents, whether you were a high school kid going off to college or whether you were a parent sending a child off to college, you would know this dance. And you go through the Target or the Walmart or the Bath Body, wherever you going, and you pick up all of this stuff for the dorm room, and you get new comforters and sheets and all the stuff that the child's gonna need for the dorm room. And they're having this whole conversation about it as they go. And Simone says, listen, I want to have a going away basketball game. A few seasons ago, they did a kids versus the adults basketball game, and so she kind of wants to have like the rematch as sort of like his going away type of thing. And so they're going to have it at Heavenly's house because Heavenly's got a basketball court, and her and Heavenly have made up, and they're in a much better place. So they're going to have it at Heavenly's house. And it was so funny. They showed the clip of her talking to Heavenly about it, and Heavenly was like, well, thank you so much for inviting me to my house. I was like, exactly. And Michael asked about inviting Dr. Jackie, and Simone was like, well, I mean, we don't really talk like that anymore. She said, yeah, but she's my favorite. Like, I love her. I want her there. And so Simone was like, all right, I'll call and ask her. So she did end up calling Jackie. Jackie said she was on call, but she said, well, what about Cecil? Can Cecil make it? And so she extended the invitation to Cecil, and she said, Cecil has been a part of Michael's basketball career because, we know Cecil was a coach. Curtis. Cecil is her husband. Curtis is, okay. Curtis, my bad, y'all. Curtis. And so, he said, listen, Curtis has been around. He's been a part of Michael's basketball career pretty much his whole life. So definitely wanted to invite them. And it just, again, reminds you about how intertwined these people's families are, And it's unfortunate they're sort of where they kind of, are where they are in their relationship. So then we have Anila and her husband. They go to visit their house, and her mom and dad are with her, and everything she's telling her mother is telling her is wrong. Every room they go into, her mother is telling her what's wrong with the room. It's not big enough. The ceilings aren't high enough. Well, why would you put this here? You're going to give me a balcony? I need a balcony. Why are you doing that? Why are you doing this? And her husband is over it. Like, Anila's husband is really irritated by the whole situation. And he kind of even snaps at her a couple of times. And Anila was like, listen, basically, she was like, we grew up middle class, but my dad comes from money. And basically, you feel like my mom wants the house to be as grand as possible to sort of floss. Like, look at what we got over here in America. And so she ends up pulling her dad aside to kind of talk to her father. And her father was like, listen, you know how your mother is? Like, she gonna give her opinion. And Anila was like, I get it, but it is so frustrating that every time I say something, it's never good enough. It's not right. It's not this. It's not that. And, the husband was like, listen, it's our house. Like, at the end of the day, you really don't have to like nothing about it. And so the dad was like, listen, you already know that if something happens to me, your mama gonna be living here with you. Because she said in her culture, they don't put, their parents in retirement homes. And so because her and her mom are closer than her mom is with her sister, that if something happened to the dad first, the mom gonna de facto be living with her. So I guess caught herself putting dibs in on the house that she gonna be living in. But my thing is that still don't make no sense either, because at the end of the day, you have a guest bedroom in this really nice house that you ain't gonna be paying no bills in. Girl, anyway, so then we got this whole scene with Dr. Jackie and one of her patients who masturbated herself into labor, child, whatever. I feel like it was just a filler scene because Jackie working so much, they can't really get a whole lot of screen time with Jackie because that whole scene was just a lot. So then we have Toya setting up a bath. The kids are not home, so she wanted to have like a little bath time with Eugene. Listen, on one hand, I get it. You got to get in where you fit in. The kids, your husband works a lot. Your kids weren't home, so you wanted to have yourself a little bit of, together time. But literally, you had to wake him up to have this bath. And at the end of this whole conversation, what you said was, I want my husband back. Why Toya want to act like she the only person suffering through COVID? Why Toya want to act like her husband ain't a frontline worker and literally saving lives? Now I get it, y'all. I'm sorry. I get it. Yes, that's her husband, and she is entitled to her feelings, but it's just coming off so selfish to me. Maybe I'm being too hard on Toya. I don't know. Anyway, so they had this whole conversation where basically Eugene is letting her know, listen, you just doing a lot. You've been a little too rough, too harsh. You coming at me with too much attitude, and I love you, and I want you to feel like you can talk and say what you need to say to me. But at the end of the day, you're doing a little much, ma'am. You're doing a little much, and I'm gonna need you to take a little bass out your voice. Is really what he's saying. Like, I'm gonna need you to take a little bass out that voice. Like, you can talk to me, you can tell me you're not happy about something, you can express how you feeling about something without being nasty and rude about it. Okay. Anyway, then we see Heavenly with her son, who really, her sons don't film a lot. So this was interesting for us to get a whole scene with her son. This is the 19-year-old. He's in college, but he also has a real estate license, and he's working with Heavenly, and they're flipping some houses. And Heavenly gave him a budget of $150,000. He didn't look for a house for $400,000. Heavenly was like, well, how we get there? He said, well, I mean, if you want the house on the lake. She said, who said anything about a lake? I didn't say nothing about no lake. I said, find me a house for $150,000. I don't know where you got a lake from. Nobody asked for a lake. Nobody need a lake. Nobody wanted a lake. Okay, we trying to flip a house, which means we need to make a profit, sir. And so she starts talking to him about, how real estate is really, great investment, da-da-da, boo-da-boo-da-boo. Then they start talking about Black Lives Matter, and she says to him, well, Anila said something the other day that kind of bothered me. We were talking about Black Lives Matter, and she started talking about Brown Lives Matter. And I had to, I'm trying to explain to her, listen, this not about brown lives, it's about Black lives, and I need you to understand. And she used a really good analogy. She said, listen, I'm a dentist. You have 32 teeth in your mouth. But if you come to me and you have a toothache, the only tooth I worry about and focus on is the tooth that is hurting in that moment. I really don't pay attention to the rest of the teeth because they are right. I focus on the teeth that are having a problem. And that's how I feel right now with Black Lives Matter. Like, I can't be worried about brown lives, green lives, yellow lives. I'm worried about Black lives. She said, so how can I tell her that without getting upset and angry? And he said, maybe it's not about talking to her. Just show her. Give her the statistics. Let her see the numbers. Let her understand what we're talking about as it relates to Black lives versus brown lives versus blue lives or whatever. And she said, that's really good. That's really good advice. Y'all know Heavenly ain't gonna do that shit. But it was good advice. Anila calls up Contessa to meet up so they could sort of talk about what went down at her party the other day. So Contessa meets up with her. They meeting up down to the Piedmont Park, child. And so Anila shows up. She done parked crooked in the damn truck. She done blew her horn at them. Anyway, they get to talking, and she's trying to explain that, well, I was really upset by the way you left the other night. I just felt like it was a little rude for you to do that. And Contessa was like, what are you talking about? Like, first of all, I told you to leave the whole Latoya situation alone. You kept bringing it up, and you kept trying to force something that I had already told you wasn't going to happen. Well, I mean, I just thought that I could help you guys work your issues out. I just thought... And she was like, but I realize now that it's just way beyond me, and I'll stop. That's what you should have done to begin with, because that's what they told you to do. Stay the fuck out of it. Ain't nobody ask you, Ayanla, to fix nobody's life. Okay? They said, leave it alone. So then she said, well, you did sort of assault my mama. Contessa was like, ain't nobody assault your mama. Actually, your mama assaulted me, because she was like straight up holding on to me, and I was very nice and I was very polite. And of course they played the footage back, and she was. And she said, well, that in our culture, it's just rude to get up from the table before your meal is finished. And she said, well, in our culture, it's rude to put your hands on somebody. But at the end of the day, Contessa ended up apologizing. She said, if your mom felt offended, I sincerely apologize. Because I guess Contessa was like, listen, I ain't about to sit here. Listen, I ain't about to sit here and drag this thing out with her mama. It is what it is. I feel like Contessa is over the whole drama that is Married to Medicine. And, at a certain point, you got to make a decision. Are you going to be cool with the drama, or you're not going to be cool with the drama? Because, if you stop being cool with the drama, then they don't need you no more. But, like, even with this next scene where they had the basketball game, when they got to getting ready to start arguing, Contessa excused herself from the situation. So I feel like, I don't know Contessa. I don't know Contessa. So they had the basketball game. Down to Heavenly's house. And at first it was really nice. Like, everybody was having a good time. They all showed up. They brought their kids and it was all cool. Now Toya is going to invite somebody that don't nobody know. And even though I don't necessarily agree with Heavenly calling that woman a bitch, I understand Heavenly's sentiment. Heavenly was like, why is Toya inviting people I don't know to my house in the middle of COVID? Now, for the purposes of the show, we know that they all had to get tested and the girl ain't got nothing. But that's not the point. The point is, why are you inviting people that don't nobody know up in my house? Did you call and ask if it was okay? Like, we're not meeting at no public rec center. We're at my house. This is my home. I don't know this woman. Heavenly won't wrong. She won't wrong for that. Now, they get to playing basketball, and Toya get to complaining. She complained about the t-shirts are cheap. She complained about the fact that they eating food out of a box. She complaining. I mean, she go again. Everything is wrong. Everything is wrong. Negative, 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 negative. So her and Anila have a conversation, and Anila tells her that she met up with Contessa, and they cleared the air, and Contessa apologized, and she said, and Anila at first was like, and then she was talking about you. And Toya was like, well, what's she talking about me for? But then when she cleared it up about what she said, she was like, well, no, she wasn't saying anything bad. She was just saying that she just wants to move on. She wants to get past this, and she wants to move on. Well, she don't need to be talking about me. I mean, if for somebody who say they don't have a problem with me, why is she talking about me? Literally, she said, I want us to move on. I don't want to have a problem with Toya. So, like, she won't talking shit. She was literally saying, I want to move on. Anyway, child, they played the basketball the game. Them youngins was kicking them old people butt, okay? To the point where Heavenly just started cheating. They had Alora keeping the score, and to the point where they got the Heavenly got the adding points to the point where they finally end up winning. But of course they ain't really win. They kicked them. Listen, them young boys kicked them them parents' butt. And Michael was giving Alora the side eye. Heavenly was like, don't do that. Don't be looking at my baby now. Keep your eyes over there. Heavenly don't play that. Heavenly don't play that at all. So the basketball game is over. The guys have excused themselves because they know better. They said, we about to go have ourselves some drinks. We're about to pick up a couple of these old box chicken lunches, and we're going to go in the house and we're going to drink and let the ladies do whatever the hell it is they about to get into, child. And so, first of all, Heavenly is being her nasty, rude, hazing ass self. For somebody that is not in let me shut up. I'm not going to say that. Heavenly always want to haze a new person. She always want to haze a new person. So here she is going after Anila. She talking about Anila not working. Anila said, first she going to tell Anila that she need to go take care of her kids because her husband is a doctor and he work and it's her job to take care of the kids. She a housewife and that's what she need to do. And Anila was like, but I do work. Heavenly told my son, what you do? She said, I'm a blogger. She said, that's a job? I didn't know that was a job. Now, it's funny how you don't know that's a job this week, but 2 weeks ago, you had your friend, Funky Dineva, who was a blogger / vlogger, and you know good and damn well that he make good money doing that. So let's not start. Let's be clear. All right? You was just being nasty to be nasty, okay? Then Then of course that was your opening and your segue to get into Anila about the whole Black Lives Matter situation, and that turned into a nasty ass argument. They, and they start going back and forth. So then of course Latoya is defending her friend, and she start coming for Toya about. So of course now she want to use the ammunition that Quad gave her last week and start talking about, well, we all know how you got your house. We all know how you got your house. And Toya was like, what you talking about? What you mean? Well, Quad. She said Quad. She said, how the hell? She said, unless Quad worked down to the bank. She said, and I mean, she might, because we know she ain't on Sister Circle no more. How the world she know anything about my finances? Now, mind you, she ain't never denied it. She just said how Quad no. And Heavenly, I mean, to be fair, Quad said it, that don't make it true. And you really threw it in Toya's face like it made it true. Now, of course, Toya is talking about that Heavenly has been mimicking her. She said, I got a 2-story closet now. Heavenly got a 3-story closet. But let's be clear, Toya. Heavenly had a 2-story closet before you did. So then she starts talking about her fireplace. She got an outdoor fireplace now. Now Heavenly done got herself an outdoor fireplace. So she talking about something. I need to make her sign an NDA the next time she come to her house. Who gonna tell her? Who gonna tell her that's not how the NDA works? That's not. That's not how an NDA works, ma'am. I'm just thought I'd let you know. Anyway. So the ladies are outside going at it. They are arguing full force. And then the toy starts talking about, well, my workout outfit costs $350 and you got a hole in your shirt. And Heavenly was like, of course I do. Because I don't wear my money on my back. Like, I invest my money. I make my money make money. Like, that don't impress me because you got a $350 workout outfit. Like, that don't impress me. And again, I have to agree and be like, Toya, that does not make you sound intelligent, ma'am. That you bragging on how much your workout outfit costs. That don't. Mm-mm. Anyway, y'all, that was the episode. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Drop it in the comments. Peace, child.